Hey everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today it is time to rock the Castrum. It is time to begin Phase 3 of Operation Archon as we infiltrate Castrum Meridianum and take down the barrier, allowing us access to the Praetorium, where the ultimate weapon is for the fourth and final phase of the operation. I do believe I was able to get the controller drift fixed well enough that I am able to play on controller. If not, I spent about 4 hours last night learning and practicing and setting up keyboard and mouse, so I can do that as a backup if needed, but hopefully we won't have to turn to that because while I think I can play competently well enough, I will definitely be far from my best if we have to switch to keyboard and mouse. I have over 2,500 hours or so on controller and about 4 hours on keyboard and mouse, so obvious difference in skill there. Let's begin. Hello, Edelstein. Edelstein? I can never tell. It's one of the two. Edelstein would send you forth to commence the penultimate phase of Operation Archon. You have rekindled the flames of courage that burn within our brave men and women's hearts, and for this I thank you. And now, the time for battle is nigh. We must march forth with no worries or regrets. General Ralbon awaits you at Castrum Meridianum. The battle will not be an easy one, but I trust that you are up to the task. Godspeed, Lieutenant Lancy. Okay, let us begin. Let's go meet with Ralbon and begin the operation. It is time to get into that Castrum. Alright, hopefully the other parts of the Alliance are doing their job well enough that the Garlean armies are sufficiently distracted. They still, of course, have their patrols just outside of the base, but that's to be expected. We couldn't get them all the way. Hello, Ralbon. Are we ready? I didn't actually run into any issues on the way here, surprisingly, and delightfully. Our hero returns. I trust your visit has done much to lift the spirits of our garrison on the eve of our greatest battle yet. Time is of the essence. Let us commence the briefing at once. Brothers and sisters of the Alliance, I would share with you glad tidings. Doubtless spurred on by news of the siege of Castrum Oriens, the Maelstrom has struck a double blow. Castrum Occidens and Castrum Meridianum are now under blockade. Phase 2 of Operation Archon is a success. Reports tell us that the Garleans offered fierce resistance, but that the Admiral yielded them not one ilm. With Occidens, Meridianum, and Oriens such suppressed, the third phase may begin in earnest. Even as we speak, the Order of the Twin Adder moves to block the railway leading hither from Castrum Sentry, and that can mean but one thing. The hour has come to strike at the heart of the Garlean invasion force. Castrum Meridianum, the den of the Black Wolf. My fellow Eorzeans, I am Infilia, mistress of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. There exist myriad barriers that divide us, those of race and nation, language and creed, to name but a few. Such barriers serve to isolate us from our neighbors, yet they also serve to define who we are. Shorn of them, there would be little to distinguish one from another, and the rich variety of our lives would give way to sterile orthodoxy. These barriers can never truly be broken down, of course, not so long as there is liberty in the world, but they can be transcended. Verily, we do so now in coming together for this grand endeavor, to fight side by side in defense of our shared home. Before me stands the adventurer Satora Lanzi. You all know her as the woman who will lead the unit tasked with destroying the ultimate weapon. We Scions know a different Satora, however. We know her as a dear friend who has endured untold hardship on our behalf. A true hero who has ever blazed a path for us to follow. And why do I tell you this? I tell you, friends, because it is time for us to blaze a path for her. Our objective is to wreak such havoc outside the walls of Meridianum as to afford Satora and her comrades the time they need to disable the Magitech field generator within. With the path thus cleared, we may finally turn our minds to the true goal of this operation, the destruction of the ultimate weapon. All troops, prepare for battle. I fear I can't accompany you this time. The unenviable task of facilitating communications between our forces has been entrusted to the Ironworks, you see. Know, though, that I will be praying for your safe return. See that you come back to us, my friend. May the crystal bless you and keep you. We will suffer the Black Wolf to prowl our lands no more. Let us teach the hunter what it is to be hunted. Forward, comrades! For Eorzea! For Eorzea! Go now, Satora, and bring us one step closer to the dawn. Slight change with the rework that they did a couple years back. It used to be that Cid would actually go into the Castrum with you, and there's actually a lot of changes with Castrum Meridianum. I will be explaining a good chunk of them as we go through. I'm going to be honest, I don't like the new Castrum all that much. I think the old Castrum was way better. There are definitely improvements. I think it might definitely be an overall better experience for new players, but I prefer the old Castrum for specific reasons that we'll get into. Go now, Satora, and bring us one step closer to the dawn. We will suffer the Black Wolf to prowl our lands no more. Let us teach the hunter what it is to be hunted. See that you come back to us, my friend. May the crystal bless you and keep you. Let's do this. Alright, so the opening of Castrum is going to be much the same as it was originally. We will be having dialogue from Cid as we proceed through. I do recommend paying attention to it. He does give important briefing information, as well as keep us up to date on what we are meant to be doing at any given time. Alright, and now that we are level 50 White Mage, you get to be introduced to the horrors of Holy Spam. Holy is a very, very good AoE ability that we pick up around level 50. Stuns enemies for about 2 seconds, only works a few times before they become immune to it, but it does do a lot of damage, and it's very nice. And it also is fucking blinding, as you may be able to tell. I have the screen zoomed out to minimize how blinding it is, and it's still a lot. Holy is a lot. Holy is a lot indeed. Alright, well, looks like we have finished off this first wave. I would be pulling multiple waves at once. The enemies in Castrum are really not that hard, but I don't trust the NPCs to do a particularly good job. Alright, make sure we have our regen up on ourself and on the tank. Holy also has a rather long cast time. Not only is it about over 2 seconds cast time, but it's also a few more seconds after you cast it before it finally goes off. It's a rather slow spell. But again, it's also a really good AoE ability. Just keep it going. Just keep the Holy Spam going. Here, let's back up. Get some arrow on each of them. Because we're down to just the last couple. Just down to the last one. And let's start heading onwards. Next wave. Okay, make sure I've got regen on myself. And you know what? Yeah. Let's do this. Let's go try out getting the second wave at the same time. I'm sure the tank can catch up. Yeah, they're on their way. They are making their way down here. I think we're gonna be fine. Oh! I was not paying attention. I was focused on my holy spam. Did not notice that you actually dragged them all away from me. That was my bad. A little bit rude of you, tank, but sure. Oh yeah, this is going smoothly. I didn't have to worry about a thing. The tank can handle it. They just need to actually follow me and grab the enemies and not leave me sitting there for a few seconds to take the hits. Now here's a question. What the heck's Medica 2 doing right there? That is not where I want to keep Medica 2. There seems like a good spot. Especially since Medica 2 is going to be a regen heal. It not only heals everyone around you, but it also grants some regen, so definitely a good ability to make use of. Especially if your party gets bopped by a few powerful AoEs. But it's also a lot of MP, so yeah, I'm gonna need to update my hotbars. I just realized that I haven't properly updated them for White Mage in a bit. I've got Rescue available, and I've got Medic 2 available, and I need to get both of those set up properly. We can do that right after this fight is over. Oh good, and we've got Colossi coming in. We just can't have anything nice, can we? Okay, one more wave of Colossi and regular soldiers. You're just not gonna let us through here, are you? Thankfully, once the reinforcements all wear down, there's only so many reinforcements. I think this might be the last wave. If not, we're close. Once all the reinforcements are down, we'll be able to have all of our party members focus entirely on the Black Aft. Oh crap. Yeah, I didn't notice that coming in time. That was my bad. Okay, I think we are down to just the Black Aft. Nice thing about Arrow 2 is not only does it inflict an damage over time on the enemy, it does damage itself. So if I need to flee from an attack, I can just spam Arrow 2 while I'm running, and that'll work perfectly fine. Don't need to worry about, oh, wasted damage because I recasted dots before it wore off. I'm still doing damage. Oh yeah, this is going much better now that we have just the Black Aft. Yeah, I should have moved out of there. Oh well. I've got a regen from the Medica. It's fine. Oh, you can stack Medica regen with regular regen. I don't play White Mage enough. I was not aware of that. I was probably aware of that at some point and then simply just forgot. Alright, Limit Break's ready. Alright, thank you, Sid. Now, one of the main ways Castrum has changed is there are significantly fewer cutscenes. There used to be cutscenes between basically every... Oh, crap. What did I have there? What did I have there? I think it was Cure 2. But yeah, there used to be cutscenes between basically every boss in Castrum, which sounds annoying, and it was a little bit. On top of that, not only were there cutscenes between basically every boss in Castrum, they were unskippable. I'll get into why there were unskippable cutscenes in Castrum when we get to the next dungeon. It'll be easier to explain there, where there still are a good number of cutscenes. Actually, you know what? We have a bit of... No, we're about to get to the first major changes other than lack of cutscenes. So yeah, I'll save that explanation for the next dungeon. Why there used to be unskippable cutscenes here. Alright, so far the route of Castrum has been basically the same. In fact, I would say overall, except for one wing. There's one wing that got cut from Castrum, but other than that, overall the route is effectively the same as it was originally when I first started playing through the game. But a lot of objectives in Castrum have changed significantly, and I think not for the better. They tried very heavily to simplify Castrum, make it a much simpler experience for new players, and I really do think they overdid it. So originally, there were 3 towers generating the Magitech field barrier that protects the Praetorium, and we needed to take all 3 towers down in order to access the Praetorium. That was the objective of this dungeon. Now there is merely 1 tower. And with there being just 1 tower, suddenly a lot of Castrum is just wandering back and forth and doing absolutely nothing. It used to be, we're not quite there yet. We'll be there soon. We'll be close enough soon enough. But the first tower would have been just down this road a little bit further. And it had actually it had a mechanic that I personally enjoyed and found at least interesting. At the very least, it broke up the monotony of going through a dungeon a little bit in a way that I liked. The original release of A Realm Reborn had a lot more dungeons that were more gimmick-focused. I think I mentioned this a long time ago. Back in Copperbell Mines used to have a lot more gimmicks. But yeah, the A Realm Reborn dungeons used to be a lot more gimmick-based. And while a lot of people don't like it for valid reasons, I found it interesting to have more gimmick-based dungeons. I thought it was a good way to mix up the content, make it not just rushing through a bunch of enemies and fighting them. And I do rather miss that. I do rather miss the gimmicks. But the first gimmick we would encounter in this stage, in this dungeon, would be as we get a little bit further ahead. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's pull everyone forward. As we'd come up to this area, you see that, like, kind of oil pipeline area over there? Well, not oil. It's, oh god, ceruleum. It's a ceruleum pipeline. So, originally, the first tower would be over there at that ceruleum pipeline, like right back in that corner over there where there's a big gap in the wall now. What we would do is we'd go over there and we'd be fighting a few enemies who would drop bombs, and then we would attach the bombs to 8 spots in the ceruleum pipeline and blow up the ceruleum, causing a chain reaction which then blew up the tower. I thought that was neat. Now it's no longer a thing. Now they have taken that away entirely. Which, okay, they simplified the dungeon. It's not the biggest deal in the world. We lost the gimmick. It's fine. This had a knock-on effect that I really dislike. And I'll be able to explain that once we get past the next boss. Past the next boss is when I'll be able to properly explain what I really don't like about that change. Oh, goodness. Damn Magitech Vanguards. They're making me pull a Black Mage. Can't cast because I have to keep moving. Okay, there we go. Much better. Alright, so yeah, it used to be that you would go down to that pipeline, you'd blow up the tower by blowing up the ceruleum. I thought that was rather neat. Other people found it to be a bit of a time waster, but I prefer my content to have a little bit more variety, if possible. Alright, second boss, Magitech Vanguard F1. I don't think there was a boss here originally, in the original run of Castrum. This is definitely new. This is new as of the rework that they did a couple years back. It's not too difficult. It has two main gimmicks. The one of them being this, a massive AoE that hits most of the arena, with only a thin ring where it is safe to stand. The other main gimmick, he already used, but we'll show again once it comes around. Oh, I guess he does have tank busters, but those are less gimmicks and more standard mechanics that we're going to see more and more of. Alright, the other gimmick is this. Well, I guess it's not really a gimmick either. It's something that's going to be a standard mechanic coming in the future. But it is a proximity AoE. The closer we are to it, the more damage it'll do to us. The further away we are, conversely, the less damage it'll do, so simply move away. It also has this ability where it'll fire out AoEs that'll land precisely where everyone is standing. So just move away from where you were standing and you'll be able to dodge it just fine. Let me move away from the tank. It's generally not the best idea to stand right next to a tank. Alright, one more of those proximity attacks. And looks like we've just about got this. Okay, you're gonna do landing on each of us individually. And down you go. Okay. So, here's where I have a huge issue with removing the first tower, where you blow up the pipeline. Do you recognize where we are on the map? This is where we fought the first boss earlier, the Black F. We just ran in a major circle, basically just wasting time for Sid to find, as he just said, a Magitech armor. Because apparently he has decided that he is in fact coming in with us. He's not going to stay back and do communications work. He got bored, I guess. It is not a change that Sid is with us in this dungeon. He did originally come in with us. Actually, no, he may have come in a little bit later as he does here. But either way, in the original, he also found a suit of Magitech armor and is at this point coming to meet with us. But yeah, because we removed that first Magitech tower, we just kind of go in a big circle for no real good reason. I'm not a fan at all. Like, that entire wing of the dungeon seems just absolutely pointless now. You go over there and accomplish nothing. And that just makes me really sad. We also lose out now on a fun little joke the community used to do where they would put up. So this game has these markers that you can put down on the field just to instruct party members where to stand for like organizing for major mechanics, for like difficult mechanics during high-end content. It used to be that people would use those markers to spell out Sid's name here while we wait for him to show up. But now that fight takes long enough that we don't have time to do that. But yes, in the original run, another thing we would do is we would actually head all the way up this way into an entire separate wing of the dungeon. in order to get to the second Magitech field generator up there. I don't mind so much that they removed it. There was a there was an interesting escort mission with Sid where you have to guide his Magitech armor. It wasn't like you have to do anything special, you just have to follow along the path and clear out the enemy so Sid can get through, basically. He'd be largely independent. It wasn't that bad of an escort mission. I don't mind so much that they removed that because they also removed the entire wing that goes with it, so it's not a pointless diversion. I am a little sad about the way they changed this area. It used to be that there were gunships overhead trying very hard to stop us. So we would climb up into those towers where there were, God, how did that go? It was a couple years ago, so it's fading from memory. I remember there were anti-aircraft cannon down here that you would use to blow up the aircraft. And I remember you also had to go up there to disable a shield or something like that. Up on top of 2 separate buildings to do that. Apologies. As I said, it's been a couple years. You can probably find video of the original run of Castrum on YouTube somewhere. Or it's somewhere on the internet. People definitely have recordings up. I'm a little bit sad about that loss of mechanics. A lot of the changes to Castrum are intended to make it less complicated, more like standard dungeons, how dungeons are throughout the rest of the game. Because they kind of gave up on gimmicky dungeons pretty quickly after A Realm Reborn. Just because people generally didn't like them all that much. But I am sad because simplifying it like that makes it feel just kind of, a lot of the dungeon just ends up feeling kind of pointless. With an entire wing just being you going nowhere just to circle back to where you started while you're waiting for Sid to catch up. Plus, it makes it feel very much like it's not as urgent of a situation as it used to be. Oh, duh, right. You were going up there to destroy to disable the shields on the Magitech field generator right there. Diverting all power to cannons. My lord was quite taken with you and the power you possess, the Echo. Naturally, I could not help but wonder whom this princess among women might be. Only to discover that you are but another adventurer, no better than the multitude. Yet in spite of this, the masses hold you in their champion and shower honors upon your head. It defies all reason. How is it that you could be such a thorn in our side? Wherever you appear, you leave havoc in your wake. You even slew Ritatine, one of our very finest. Well, I will not speculate. Truth be told, I couldn't care less how you have done these things. What matters to me is the fact that you have done them. If you are allowed to continue, you will eventually deprive me of all that I have toiled for, all that is mine by rights. My minions, my comrades, even my Lord Gaius. Well, you cannot have him. His dreams and ambitions, his body and soul, they are mine, do you hear me? All mine. I lost everything once before. I will not suffer it to happen again. I will kill you, adventure. Only your death can bring me peace. I recalled as that cutscene was playing, the original way we took care of the last Magitech tower was not through Sid destroying it with his Magitech armor, but through us dropping a gunship on it with the anti-aircraft cannons, which, that's so funny. I love that. I'm sad that we've lost it. Oh, goodness. Yeah, like overall, Castrum is probably a much better experience for new players now, but I can't help but be sad at a lot of the fun stuff we lost. The things that made this more of a different and interesting dungeon. A more unique dungeon. Alright, Livia Sus Junius. I really like this boss fight. I think this is a huge improvement over what her boss fight originally was. Originally, what you would do is there were 4 cannons around the field that you would use to fire on her Magitech armor that she was in until you eventually destroyed it. You would have to load ammo into the Magitech armor in order to, into the Magitech cannons in order to use it. It was not the best fight in the world. All the while, there were various soldiers rushing in to back her up. While I do think this fight is far, far better as is, like this, the old Magitech fight was not great. I do really miss a lot of the things that they changed in Castrum make it feel like a far less urgent situation. There's nowhere near as many soldiers in here. It feels so much emptier. When, like, yes, the Eorzean Alliance is currently actively trying to pull as many soldiers out as they can, but it can't be this empty, can it? This is a little bit on the ridiculous side, I think. I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. It's not bad. It really isn't bad. I just think that in many ways the old dungeon was better, and it makes me sad. Anyways, let's go ahead and finish off our fight against Livia Sus Junius. Alright, what are you doing now? Oh goodness. Get into the middle. That is going to be the safest place for us in this kind of attack. We'll be hit by all 4, but we'll be hit by all 4 minimally. It is also admittedly a major improvement that this dungeon is significantly shorter now. It used to be more of like a 40-minute dungeon, but now even with the NPCs that I'm playing with, who are notably slower than human players, we're still almost done in about 25 minutes. It is notably shorter now, and that is an improvement, admittedly. I'm allowed to be sad for the things that we lost that I did like about it. It wasn't all bad. Alright, she's getting desperate. Let's pop a cure, or Medica 2, keep everyone healed, and finish her off. No, it's happening all over again. Please, I cannot bear it. Don't take him away from me. My Lord Gaius! Another poor fool who craved Gaius's affection over all else. May her soul know rest. 'Tis a miracle no harm has come to you, my friend, one for which I will happily give thanks. And thanks to your fine diversionary work, we've succeeded in bringing down the generator tower, and with it the Magitech field. The way to the Praetorium now lies open. The only problem is we can't reach it on foot. Nay, we'll need to take the Enterprise. I left her at the Cerulean processing plant, so let's regroup there. This is it, Satora. The final confrontation awaits. Okay, we did it, and we hit level 51, I think they said? And we got 100 elegant tombstones of poetics. Tombstones. Elegant tombstones are relics of a long-lost civilization which perished several ages past. It is said that they contain the knowledge of the Elegant Empire, and as such are highly sought out by collectors around Eorzea. Rowena and her associates are representatives of one such collector, and have been sent to Revenant's Toll in the heart of Mordona by her employer to seek out adventurers willing to exchange the tombstones they come across on their journeys for weapons and armor. So, between the major expansions, there's a series of minor patches which continue the main story. acting as the epilogue to one expansion and the prologue to the next. During those patches, new armor, new ever more powerful armor and weapons got added, continues to get added. And in order to access a lot of that, you need to use elegant tombstones. I'm always gonna say it with both, aren't I? I'm gonna try and stop that immediately. But yes, you get those new bits of armor and weapons with elegant tombstones. Poetics are a special type of tombstone which are used for basically any old expansion's gear. So anything that's not the current expansion, currently we're in the Endwalker patches, so anything before Endwalker as of this recording, anything before Endwalker, you're going to buy any of that patch gear with elegant tombstones and poetics. But once you're on like the current content, there's different elegant tombstones that become available. We will get to those if we ever catch up to the main story, and I highly doubt that's going to happen, so we're only going to be using poetics probably. Anyways, just basically summary, poetics are for catch-up gear, is how it basically works. Alright, Ralbon, we did it. We cleared the Castrum. I knew you wouldn't let us down, soldier. With the Praetorium stripped of its defenses, the way to the ultimate weapon lies open. The time has come for the final phase of Operation Archon. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the money because we already have Menfina's earrings. And next time on Final Fantasy XIV, the finale, as we take on the ultimate weapon. I'll see everyone next time for that.